What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another predicted lineup video as we face Nottingham Forest at the City Ground this weekend. Sunday 4:30 kickoff in a game which I'm very much looking forward to. First time at the City Ground as well, so it's going to be an interesting occasion. I love ticking off those. I think I've been to around 55 stadiums now, which is crazy, and with the Champions League now, that's 4 new stadiums before the World Cup, so very much looking forward to that.
Where, you going Qatar as well?
Huh? I'm not going Qatar, but I am going to go to Marseille and the rest of our Champions League games, and Nottingham Forest. So that's 4 new stadiums, but forget about that. We're here for a predicted lineup. Conte has been speaking in the press conference, and what is the team news?
Yeah, so Conte has confirmed that Romero is not going to be risked this weekend as he still in train. He's still injured. Sorry. Well, it's a bit complicated because he might be injured and he might not be. We're not 100% sure. We're hearing that he is available, but Conte doesn't want to risk him. But there you go. But Romero, he has confirmed that Romero isn't going to be playing this weekend. Ollie Skip remains out, but he starts training next week along with Romero. And Lucas Moura has taken a knock, so he is going to be a doubt for this weekend. So don't expect him to be involved.
All right, well, let's get straight into it. And obviously, we're going to go for a 3-4-3 formation. As per usual. In goal is obviously going to be our captain, Hugo Lloris.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was looking at stats recently, and Spurs have actually conceded. When it comes to shots conceded, we concede the least XG per shot in the Premier League this season. And they concede the most. But so when it comes to Lloris, like, he hasn't been that tested because even though we've conceded quite a few shots, they're always in areas which are difficult to score from. And even when you think of the goals we conceded, like Koulibaly, what a strike that was, like Ward-Prowse, a volley from the edge of the box, and then obviously you have Reece James, which was an easy chance. But the goals we conceded, and you think about Wolves' shots last week, all from outside the box. So we have to keep that up, and hopefully Lloris can continue to be that untested.
Yeah, and it's not really just this season as well. It's a trend that has been replicated from the back end of last season as well, where we weren't really conceding that many high quality chances. So that's a testament to Antonio Conte and the way he set up the team, that's for sure. But let's move on into the next position, which is right wing back. We're going for Emerson Royale once again, and I think he started the season fairly well.
Yeah, I think he's had pretty decent performances. Still leaves you wanting that bit more in the final third. Against Southampton he did quite well, but against Chelsea and against Wolves we didn't see enough quality there. Obviously Jed Spence coming up against his old side if he's involved in the squad, but we don't believe he's going to be given a start this early. Although, if you would have noticed in the training videos they released today, or yesterday, so I should say, Jed Spence was looking very sharp, and he scored a couple of goals as well. So maybe we're speaking too soon. But
did he mention anything about Jed in the press conference?
Not that I saw. No. But Emerson, I don't think there's any reason for him not to keep his place, really. So obviously Doherty's also there waiting in the wings, but we're thinking Emerson's going to start. It
would actually be, for a team that concede the highest XG of the season and a team that concede a lot of chances, it actually might be nice to see Jed Spence play and really attack those flanks.
Yeah, and as well against a side that he knows well. I know a lot of players have changed, but he knows well, and maybe he'll be able to know how to attack best.
That could also work both ways, though, couldn't it?
Yeah, they know Jed as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it could be a good opportunity to use him. I do think now Lucas is unlikely to play. He'll probably be in the squad, so maybe he'll come on.
Interesting. All right, let's move on and let's go to the right centre-back. And I think Davinson Sanchez did more than enough last week to keep his place, so we're going for him again. Yeah,
with Romero not featuring this weekend, it has to be Davinson Sanchez. Obviously, we have 3 games this week with West Ham coming up in midweek. Sanchez played well last week, some really good defending. Although still those same issues I always have with him, but we have no choice really but to start him with Tanganga still looking to ship him out, I think, at the moment.
All right, so that's Sanchez on the right. In the middle is obviously going to be Eric Dyer with that commanding presence and ball-playing ability at the back.
Yeah, and we're going to need him in this game to make sure that we don't get overawed by the crowd and things like that, because it's going to be a very loud City ground. So he's got a big job on his hands to keep that back line as structured as he has been in the beginning of the season.
And then to make up that back three, a lot of people actually talking about Clement Longley potentially coming in for this game, but we have stuck with Ben Davies.
Yeah, I think he had a decent game in the end against Wolves, although probably not at his very best. I'm excited about Clement Longley because I really believe that he can be an upgrade on what Davis offers, especially on the ball. I think Davis is good, but I think Longley is a lot better. So I'm looking forward to potentially him making his debut, but I just don't think it's going to come this weekend at the City ground. But with him on the bench, maybe he'll get some minutes.
All right, so that's a back three of Sanchez, Dyer and Davis. On the left wing back, we are sticking with Ivan Perisic after a really good display, man of the match performance last time out. And, you were mentioning in the preview how a lot of their chances come down that side, so it could be a very big game for Perisic this weekend.
Yeah, apparently Forest have conceded the most chances down there.
Is it Neco Williams down that side?
Yeah. They've conceded the most chances down that right-hand side more than any other Premier League team. So definitely something for Perisic to aim at and to try and make the most of. And obviously he had a fine debut last week against Wolves. He was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? Taking on Johnny, the right back of Wolves. And hopefully he can find similar space. And I think if he does, he can really hurt this Wolves back line. So encouraging start, but more to come, I think, from Perisic.
Absolutely. And I for one, am so excited to see him play this weekend. But let's run through that back line with you one more time. So it's Hugo Lloris in goal, right wing back Emerson Royale, left wing back Ivan Perisic, and then Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer and Ben Davies to make up that middle three. Moving into the midfield, we are hearing that potentially he doesn't think Bissouma is quite ready tactically just yet in terms to fit into Antonio Conte's system. So I think the midfield you're going to see is fairly familiar. The first one we're going to talk about is Rodrigo Bentancur.
Yeah, and he had a mixed game against Wolves, sloppy first half, and then really grew into it second half and ended up having a pretty decent game. I think he's had a pretty good start to the season so far, so it's going to be a battle in that centre. Forest are going to be up for it, so he can't have those sloppy moments like he has had. But if he can just make sure he's as composed as he usually is and he's not being sloppy, then I'm sure he's going to have a solid game. So he has to start.
And alongside him, obviously, the trusted Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
And he's been really good this season. I've been very happy with Højbjerg. Obviously, Skip is back training next week, so it's going to be interesting to see how much game time he gets once he's back in the fold, Ollie Skip. But Højbjerg, for me, has been one of our players of the season, maybe our player of the season so far. So I think he's been really good at going both ways on the pitch, and against Wolves he really stepped up when we needed him. So he's showing why he's one of Conte's most trusted players, I think. Yeah,
in the last couple of games against Chelsea, against Wolves, our midfield did struggle at times coming up against the Chelsea midfield and the Wolves midfield. How do you think our midfield will stack up this weekend?
Yeah, I think we should physically be there. I think sometimes with our midfield, it takes them a while to get into the game. I think
like our team.
I think that's been an issue that we need to get right. Sometimes at the start of the game, the pressing's a bit off, or it just takes them about 10-15 minutes to get into it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's something similar. But I think Højbjerg and Bentancur will have enough to really dominate over the Forest midfield.
Yeah, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? So that's a midfield two of Højbjerg and Bentancur. On the right-hand side, we're going to go for Dejan Kulusevski.
Yeah, Richarlison, to be fair, has done really well in his cameo performances, but we're thinking Kulusevski will start in this one on the right-hand side. He really gave Ait-Nouri no end of trouble in that second half against Wolves last week. So we're thinking that he has to play, and hopefully he can get back to getting those goal contributions.
Yeah, and obviously he's had a really good start to the season. Kulusevski's second half against Wolves, I thought he was electric, and obviously in the game against Southampton he was literally unplayable. He did go a bit missing in the Chelsea game, but so did a lot of our players. So I think you can't take him out of the team just yet because he's in such a rich vein of form. Up front is obviously going to be Harry Kane, and backing him obviously to get on the score sheet this weekend.
Yeah, 2-2 for him now, for Harry Kane. 2 headers as well, both from corners. So he'll probably want his first goal in open play, but I think he's been playing pretty well despite that. He was actually a bit more central and a bit more further up the pitch in the Wolves game than he was in the other games, which is interesting. But hopefully he carries on his rich vein of form, Harry Kane, and on marching his way, hopefully, to a golden boot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's leading the way? Haaland with 3, I think, right? Oh, Rodrigo.
Oh,
4.
Rodrigo, yeah.
Rodrigo 4, then Haaland, then Kane. All right, so hopefully Kane can notch another one.
Yeah, and the left-hand side was a contentious one. A lot of people calling for Richarlison to come in, but we are going to stick with Sonny for this one. In the back of our minds, we know that there's a lot of games coming up, and there's definitely going to be opportunities there for Richarlison. In my opinion, the way I'd like to see it play out is potentially maybe play Richarlison in this game, bring on Son with maybe half an hour to go against tiring legs, and then in a view to start Sonny against West Ham. But I think Conte might just stick with Sonny for this game.
Yeah, we think so. He was talking about him in his press conference, and he was asked about Son. Is he worried about Sonny's form? And he said absolutely no chance. Son, he said Son's been playing well, and he's been unlucky with a few opportunities where he hasn't maybe found the back of the net, but he's got no issues with Son. And I think most people agree with that. Richarlison, to be fair to him, as I said before, he's actually looking quite sharp when he's come on for his cameo performances and looking to make a real impact. Against Wolves, he was really unlucky not to get on the score sheet probably a couple of times in the last 20 minutes or so. So if he does start, I'm not going to be unhappy about it, because I do think Richarlison has earned a start. But with the quality Son has, you just know that he's likely to get on the score sheet at any moment now. So we're thinking that Son is going to get their nod.
All right, so let's run through that team with you guys one more time. The predicted lineup for Forest away on Sunday. In goal is going to be Hugo Lloris, a back three of Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer and Ben Davies. Emerson Royale on the right, Ivan Perisic on the left with a double pivot of Højbjerg and Bentancur, and then Heung-min Son and Dejan Kulusevski supporting Harry Kane. If this is the lineup, what score prediction are you going for?
2-0. I said 2-0 to Spurs. I think Forest are going to come flying out the traps, and it's going to be difficult to deal with. But if we do, once we ride the storm, I think we should take control and see out the victory by a couple of goals. So I'm going for 2-0. Yeah,
I'm really hoping that when Forest, or if Forest come out the traps, that we can really hurt them and sucker punch them early and really get a few goals this weekend. So I'm actually, I also said 2-0 and predict the pen, but I'm actually changing my prediction. I'm going to go for 3-0.
3-0.
Because I think that if they do come out the traps firing, I really believe that we can, if we can get an early goal, we can put a few past them. So I'm banking on that, and I'm going for 3-0. But if it goes on 0-0, the longer it goes on 0-0, the more nervy it's going to get, and maybe it will end up being a 1 or 2-0. But I'm going to stay positive, and I'm going to bank on us getting the early goal and finishing 3-0. Right. But that is your predicted lineup. Big up to everyone. Let me know your predicted lineup in the comment section below. Let me know your predicted score lines in the comment section below, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.